world is breathing, a fragile sound.
Hello, hello.
No echoes here.
Welcome, everyone.
On sacred ground. A quiet pose, a steady beat, the truth we feel in simple heat. Barefoot steps on hallowed ground, a sacred rhythm we have found.
Hello, good to see you, everybody. It's wonderful. Happy New Year. I don't think we've seen each other since December. I'm curious if there's any newcomers. Is this your first time in a Hylo Community Call? Yes. Welcome, Miles, Angela, Johnny, Judy, and Molly. Yay, welcome. I'd love to hear where everybody's calling in from. If you just want to unmute and say where you are, we'd love to get a sense of where you all are based. And I'm calling in from Morocco today.
Yeah, I'm from Derbyshire and in Derbyshire in England.
Illinois, Chicago, Illinois.
Camden, Maine.
Atlanta, Georgia.
London,
Tarrytown,
England.
Illinois.
Chicago.
Virginia.
Bangalore,
Netherlands.
Illinois.
Colorado.
I'm from Aberystwyth, Wales.
Brooklyn, New York.
Monterrey, Catalunya.
Carlsbad, California.
Incredible. I just absolutely love how diverse the Hylo community is and literally spanning the entire globe. So for those who are new to Hylo, in case you don't know, Hylo is a community-led pro-social coordination platform for purpose-driven groups. And our main purpose is to activate the full potential of these groups so that we create a flourishing world that works for everyone. Now, just a small mission over here. And I'd love to pass it on to maybe Krisha to just say welcome in a few words.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. We're so happy to have you here. We host these monthly community calls as a way for us to gather and just find connections, meet amazing people, hear what's happening in Hylo. You know, I'm sure a lot of you know Hylo is completely stakeholder driven. So it's you who help us determine what features to build, how to develop the platform. So we're really happy to be in this space and be in community with you all on these calls. Back to you, Yasmin.
Incredible. And I'd love to also welcome Tibet, who's going to be sharing briefly some updates. But before we go there, I just want to say welcome. We're really excited for you to be here. And we've been hosting these community calls almost every month. And we also have orientation calls to dive deeper onto the platform. We'll be sharing some links later on. But we just want to say we're really happy you're here. Thank you for making the time. And we're on for a journey this next hour together. So I'd love to call in, let's see, Claire, who's going to share just a brief update on what's been going on.
Wonderful. Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Claire. I'm the Director of Product for Hylo. I'm in the Sierras bioregion of Northern California on Sierra Miwok land. And the thing that I'm excited to share in the product department of Hylo today is that paid group memberships is coming very, very soon. The feature has been built and we are in test mode right now to make sure everything is working perfectly. And so paid memberships means that a group on Hylo can choose to charge money to members that want to join the group. So it's something that a lot of platforms have, and we've never had it on Hylo until now. And a lot of groups have asked for this. So we are excited to offer it, and, not in a like, oh, we expect people to be like making, using Hylo to make lots of money or something. Hylo is not a commercial platform, but it is really important for groups to sometimes charge tuition for members, for groups that want to do like crowd raises, that kind of thing, groups that want to be gathering resources and then doing something with it together, all of those could be great reasons for why a group would want to charge money. So you could have a group where everyone who joins puts in $5 a month, and then your group has this treasury, and then you can decide what you want to do with it together. Something like that. That's kind of how we hope people will think about it. But group stewards should be resourced for their work. So we just want to really support that resourcing from happening and unlock this capability for groups on Hylo that it's relevant to. Obviously, it's a totally optional feature. We expect most of the groups on Hylo will continue to be free for their members, and Hylo will always be free to use. But this is just supporting groups that are trying to do really complex coordination together, like managing resources together. And it's especially powerful if it is combined with Hylo's recently released participatory funding rounds, where groups can be deciding how they want to allocate funding amongst project proposals. So then you could have a situation where groups are pooling their money and then deciding how they want to use it together. So just to get some ideas percolating about what's possible now. And with the paid memberships, I don't think we're quite ready to demo it unless Tibet feels otherwise, but we can demo it next time. But just a quick overview on that, it's up to the group steward to set up exactly what, how much you want to charge. Is it an annual membership, a monthly membership, donation based? All of those options are possible. And not only will you be able to charge for group membership, you could also, as a steward, set up charging for tracks in your group. So if you're doing educational tracks in your group, maybe you actually want to have people contribute a little bit to access each individual track. Well, you'll be able to do that too. So these are just some of those basic features that people who manage groups and online education really, really need. So we're super pleased to be able to deliver that. So stay tuned. And I think we'll be launching that, pretty soon in the next few weeks, let's say. So that's one exciting thing. And I think Tibet is going to comment on another product thing, and we can take some questions on that as well.
Yeah, I can jump in with just a few more quick updates. Hey, everyone, I'm lead the development of the platform, Hylo. And yeah, we've released some nice little improvements over the course of the beginning of this year. You might notice, for example, that when you search right now, the way search used to work is it would always search across all of your groups, which was not always often what people wanted. Right now, when you start to search in Hylo, it defaults to searching within the current group that you're in, but also lets you select whether you want to just search within the current group or search across all your groups. So it's like a nice little change. A more significant change that I'm sure some of you noticed who have been on the platform for a while is we released some tweaks and updates to the color scheme of Hylo and the ability to change your color scheme. We now offer 9 different built-in color schemes. We know people like to customize and change how they use and view their apps sometimes. And this also paves the way for us to add more customization, and specifically something that a lot of groups have asked for, which is the ability for the group itself to customize the colors it's using so that it feels more like the branding of the community that you're a part of. And so then when you're moving between groups, it's more clear, oh, I'm in this group, it has these colors, it kind of fits the vibe and theme that we use for this group. So that will be coming soon. But in the meantime, you can just personally customize how it looks. And you'll notice a new little settings menu in the lower left-hand corner of Hylo. There's a little gear. Actually could just show it really quick while we're here. But this allows you to have much more regular, easy access to your various settings. Let me share my screen for a moment. So here we are in our Building Hylo community. If for those of you who aren't a part of it yet, we'll share a link, but this is the community where we kind of discuss the building of Hylo. Here's our post about the new color schemes. And you'll see in the corner here, this new little menu that lets you change your language. We have a bunch more language translations coming very soon. And you can change your appearance to forest or blossom. So yeah, that's a really nice little change. You can also more easily change between light and dark mode depending on what you prefer. Yeah, and then another significant update that's coming soon that I wanted to mention is we will have a new version of our mobile app that is going to be more aligned with the web app in how it looks and works, and really have all of the features of the web app. Right now, there's some things that are missing in the mobile app, and it should just be a better experience overall. And it's also going to allow us to more quickly iterate on the mobile app. So that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks, and it should be really just make using Hylo on the go much easier as well. I think that is all I was going to mention today. But we're always working on all kinds of fun new things, and we'll keep the updates going, especially in the Building Hylo community, if you want to track what's coming up soon on the feature side. Yasmin, if you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. There was a question about how Hylo is different from Mighty Networks. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so Hylo and Mighty Networks are very similar in some ways. We offer a lot of overlapping feature sets. Yes, we are different in that we are a nonprofit, we're open source. We are really trying to create this platform as a tech commons and offer to the world as this kind of public good. There's also some significant differences in the feature set. Each Mighty Networks instance is kind of its own little silo. Whereas in Hylo, you can have access to all your Hylo groups from your one main interface and kind of move between them easily. You can also cross-post in Hylo. So you can create a post and share it with multiple groups that you're a member of and create these kind of shared nodes of connection and conversation there. We're also very focused on the mapping features. This year, we're going to be really putting a lot more effort into the kind of local and place-based community organizing. So the geographic mapping tools are much more front and center and useful in Hylo than they are in Mighty Networks. And the sort of network mapping abilities, like groups can be nested within each other in Hylo, connected to each other. You can kind of map, networks or coalitions that have different groups within it at infinite levels deep, and also have just relationships between groups, which can be useful for people to kind of find and connect to groups through a kind of network map of related groups. So Mighty Networks is really trying to create these little silos for different communities, and Hylo offers that ability. You can have completely private hidden groups, but it's also creating much more of this ecosystem of purpose-driven and place-based groups that can be working together and connected to each other. So those are some of the main differences. Some of the features we offer, another major feature that was already mentioned that we have that Mighty does not have, is the participatory funding and grant making, and our kind of in general our proposal tools and our governance tools. So we're really offering a much more full stack, sophisticated set of coordination tools. Like as your group grows from just needing chat or mutual aid or events, like eventually you might want to start making decisions together and distributing resources together. And so we have this kind of full suite of tools for pro-social coordination, as we put it. Those are some of the main differences.
And is there I see a question from Johnny about whether there's plans to integrate AI tools into Hylo?
Definitely, yeah. We have a whole roadmap for that. We don't want AI to just be jammed in, generate content, generate AI slop. But we think there's a lot of ways that AI can be really useful as an assistant for communities. It can help with that first layer of moderation. If somebody's posting things that break group agreements, it can both tell the person who's posting it and also warn the moderators and kind of support with that. We also think it can be useful for summarizing what's been happening in the group. Like if you come back after a week from vacation and you want to catch up on everything that's happened, there could be an AI that kind of summarizes for you. And we imagine an AI assistant supporting the community stewards in maybe suggestions of, it seems like these people should connect, or, maybe there's energy to create this subgroup or this chat room because a lot of people are talking about this topic. And finally, matching people and matching, for kind of mutual aid. This person has this need and this person has this skill, or these people are both interested in this topic, connecting them so they might want to collaborate on a project together, connecting people locally with shared interests. So that's another whole area, that kind of matching that we are exploring. I don't have a timeline on when some of these things will come. We have a lot we want to do and a small team, and we're always kind of working with our stakeholders, all of you, to figure out what to prioritize. But we're also, as an open source project, always welcome contributions from other developers or other teams who want to contribute and get involved and say, hey, I'd love to build this AI tool. In fact, I'm working with a developer right now who just showed up and is like, I want to integrate video chat into Hylo using some open source video chat tools. So, we'll see. Maybe that will be coming soon as well through the work of this other developer.
Incredible. Tibet, maybe one final question before we highlight our community of the year, of the month. So I see a question from David Efron. Could you talk more about the mutual funding tools, participatory models, and co-op governance available within Hylo?
So the tools that we just released, we worked with a foundation called the 11th Hour Project, or sort of part of the Schmidt Family Foundation. And they have been wanting to, as many funders we were talking to right now, work to distribute their money in more, democratic ways. So involving the participants, contributors, stakeholders in their decision making around how to distribute their grants. And so the current tools are kind of very focused on that use case. We have a pool of money. We want to decide which projects to distribute this money to as a community. And so there's a few different models we support there. We support a co-budgeting model where basically everyone who's part of this funding round, we call it in Hylo, gets a piece of the money. So if you have a pool of $100,000, everyone who's participating, say, gets $1,000 or $2,000, and they get to distribute it directly to all the projects in the round, however they see fit. We also support different voting models. Maybe everyone in the community gets 10 votes that they can distribute to different projects, and they can distribute, a maximum of 3 to any one project or something like that. So it's pretty flexible with how people want to use it, but it's really oriented towards that use case. And then we want to build on that to enable more, participatory budgeting and kind of other ways that people might want to distribute money as a group. In general, I would say we are passionate about what is known as dynamic governance or sociocratic models of governance. And we believe Hylo is well suited to support communities that have maybe different teams or circles, they call them in sociocracy, with that kind of distribute decision making. And so each team could have its own subgroup within the group. We have roles and responsibilities built into the platform that you can distribute to people, some of which have powers in the community, like the ability to change the settings and invite people, or manage that kind of who's coming into the community. And some of them you can just create yourself and say, we have a person who's the note taker, or a person who's the treasurer, and you can kind of distribute your roles and responsibilities within the platform. We would love to, in the future, enable actually elections for these roles and have truly democratic groups that are able to live on the platform. But that is something that will come in the future. And then, I don't know if the question is also about how we're governing ourselves, but we use sociocracy ourselves, and we have this goal and intention of increasing the amount of stakeholder input, community input, and ownership of the platform over time. And so we're actually deeply involved in a process of what is the next legal structure and ownership structure of Hylo, and how do we take these step-by-steps towards exiting to community is one way that people put it. Instead of getting bought by a large company, we want to have more and more community ownership and governance of the platform over time. And so, yeah, we're continuing to figure that out, how that looks like. And we will let you know as that process involves, and would love your input in all of that.
Thank you so much to Bet and Claire for sharing the updates, recent updates this month. More to come in the coming months as well. And for now, I'd love to highlight Danielle Johnson, who's going to be sharing a little bit about her incredible work. So let me just, let's see, spotlight. There we go. There you are. Hi, Danielle. Good to see you.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So Daniel is behind Limicon, which is a gathering for practitioners, artists, sense makers, philosophers, community weavers, and basically people are exploring the liminal, integral, and regenerative edges of culture and consciousness. So Daniel, would love to hear, how did you get involved with this community, or what was the inspiration behind this vision?
Yeah, I started having these kind of weird ideas about, well, probably my whole life, but really came to a head about 10 years ago. And through my inquiries and stuff, found the integral space. And yeah, started to explore more there. Attended an event called Emerge Austin. And the idea there was to bring together a bunch of people, put them in a room, and see what emerges from, all of that awesomeness in the same space. And just was really inspired by that event and the network in general that was forming around, integral, metamodern, game B type spaces. And yeah, so after that event, got more involved in planning then an event called Emerge Toronto. So it was going to be a second iteration of that in Toronto. And that, for several reasons, was unable to go forward. But from that was kind of this idea of an online event with the same spirit of emergence and co-creation and network/field building. So when the time came for that event to kind of see if it was a thing, I felt some thing in me raise my hand and step into the position of leadership for that event. I cry about a lot of stuff, so. Yeah, so over the last, this is the third iteration of Limicon that we're going into this year now. And yeah, for me, Limicon has been a process of my own growth and development, and this amazing opportunity to give back to a network that I feel like has given so much to me and my development. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, anyway, so.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to go. So maybe you can share the link in the chat about the upcoming event. When does it happen usually, like in a year? What's the timeline?
So it's a month-long event. It happens all throughout March. And the idea there is we want people to be able to drop in and out and not kind of like, oh, I'm not available that weekend and have to miss Limicon. Like it's a very open space for people to come and share what they've been working on. And we start co-creation meetings this month. So the month of February, we invite the community to come and help us build Limicon together. So we have some pretty basic structures, calendar, a high-low group, a Miro board, a map, and then we invite the community in and we say, what do you want to bring to Limicon? What do you have here? We are exploring this year with ways to kind of do better the things that we've done in the last couple of years. Our use of Hylo is one of those things that we really want to improve on this year. We used it last year. We had about half of our members from who registered for Limicon joined the Hylo group, and we used it. We had a really good menu set up so people were able to interact with that and get to any of the places that they needed to go. So organizationally, we used Hylo, and then also used it as kind of a messaging board and, hey, anybody want to talk about this session, or here's my session coming up, or that type of thing. But this year we have a dedicated steward that's going to be the Hylo energy. And so, yeah, we're really looking forward, and as hearing the new options that are coming out and kind of the directions that Hylo is going, that makes me feel very excited too about as you look at like where Limicon could go and the tools that Hylo offers, that feels exciting to me as well. Yeah, so
I love that. How did you come across Hylo? What was that first introduction touch point with Hylo? What's the backstory?
Well, this might not be my exact first touch point. It probably happened a couple times before, but the catalyst really was, and she's here today, Tiffany Hart, after the first Limicon, saying like, there's this thing called Hylo, and I think it's going to be something good. Like, maybe check it out. And so, yeah, and then, kind of kept that energy and used it last year in the event, thanks to Tiffany, who was part of the organizing team last year. So.
And I love seeing that there are some of our friends here who've been to Limicon last year as well, like Faizan, who has some tips to stay up until 4 a.m. to not miss any session. I love that. So Daniel, what's next? Like with Limicon, so you're building this community, you're doing these online events. Like what does success look like? Like how do you know that you've achieved this mission, right? Like give us an overview into the future.
I mean, I don't try to predict the future a lot. I think it's already been a success, just by the energy that it's brought to the different networks. But what I hope to do better every iteration of Limicon that I have the privilege to be a part of is create a place where people feel safe to come and connect, where synchronicities can happen, where we can collectively source the edges of the things we're learning about, where we can practice together, where we can grow together. And any bit of that mycelial network that this event can help strengthen or catalyze, I feel like it's a success for that.
I love that. And how can we support you as Hylo and as a community? How can we best support you?
Well, we'd love any best practices that you have as you're building your own communities and to learn about like what exactly we can use. We felt very supportive as far as like willingness to help us to set things up and listen to, feedback from things that we're seeing. So just keeping that part up too, I think is amazing.
Amazing. Please put the link down in the chat if you already have one. I'm sure a lot of Hylo members would love to attend as well. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you for your passion. And it's very felt. And I think a lot of people here also felt your devotion to this mission. Thank you. All right. Let's do maybe a check-in. I'd love to know how everybody is feeling in this moment. Just one word, and I would love to invite you to share it in the chat, just to get a sense of like, how is everyone doing before we move into the next part of our community call. All right, one word, go. Inspired, excited, intrigued, connected, yay, jazzed, humbled, hopeful, busy, buzzy, grateful. I love that. Invested, yes. Inspired, hopeful, ready, curious, relaxed. I love it. Amazing. Okay, that was a test because the next question is going to be more of a community share. And so because we're 70 today, how exciting. I love that more of us are showing up every month. So not everyone will get a chance to share, but we can all maybe share in the chat before we open it up to the room. So here's the prompt. I've been thinking about this all morning. The question is, what kinds of connection, collaboration, or care would you like to see more of in 2026? What kinds of connection, collaboration, or care would you like to see more of in 2026? Let's take a minute to write down in the chat. Don't post yet until I tell you to do it. And then we'll see what we discover. And we'll get to hear from some of you as well. All right, 1 minute, go.
World is green, birds outside, nowhere, sacred ground, quiet pause, steady beat, truth we feel, simple heat, barefoot steps on hollow ground. The sacred rhythm we have found the world just breathe. All right, on the count of 3, 2, and 1, go. Amazing. Okay, so I definitely invite you to read through these responses, but I'd love to also invite some courageous souls to unmute and share your response so that we can hear from you. And, we'll spend the next 20 minutes or so just like really connecting and getting to know each other through this question. So, who'd like to go first? And don't be shy. Rule number 1. Okay, Tom, go for it.
I put in the chat that Icon is going to be doing a discussion on intersubjectivity, that resonant energy we all enjoy and feeds us. It is going to be the focus of Icon 2026 in May this year. So I'm hoping to do a preliminary discussion on that with all of you.
Love it. Thank you, Tom. Awesome. And if you can share a link or anything that you want us to look at, please do. Veronica, you're next. And feel free to raise your hand. That might be easier to coordinate.
Gosh, I'm not sure I'm going to articulate this very well because I only just really started thinking about it. But I have been thinking a lot about the kind of world that we're in and where we want to get to, and very noticing how, first of all, there's a lot of groups doing a lot of work, but also there is a lot of negativity, and people, understandably, people trying to get away from what we've got. And I think that to get to where we need to get to, we need a collective vision or a common agenda for a future that we're all kind of mutually reinforcing our activities alongside. So finding some way to connect an alliance of some sort, or put together something that helps us come to an agreement about what the values are and what is the future that we're moving towards. So we're not just moving away from something, because we could end up anywhere, but we're moving collectively towards something and keeping ourselves connected on the way. And I see Hylo as being a really great platform to help enable that. So getting really clear on that, and then finding a way to connect down and mutually reinforce our activities.
I love that. I love that, Veronica. Thank you so much. And kia ora. Beautiful. Mark, you're up next.
Greetings, everyone. I'm sitting on the edge of the Mississippi, and I'm in the second quarter now of the 7th year of working on what it was going to be a book is now 4 books that I've titled A Course in Us. And I'm getting really close to the place I'm trying to nail down the printer. I'm finishing the illustrations. There's over 200 some illustrations across the 4 books. And it's all focused on, I'm a sociologist, and my area of research is the social construction of suffering. And I come to this from having stepped away from peace movement work because I saw it as a complete failure to engage the animal at the level of its harm. So men kill children so they can have more. And if we don't face that reality at something more than the people united will always be defeated, we will continue to watch ourselves go extinct. We've reached, the beauty of sociology is it's a science of patterns. And so these 4 books are to give activists across the world a community of shared language, shared understanding, shared tools, shared mirrors, so that we can understand how in all of us is the harm that we are trying to resist. So I'm working hard to get that done, and I joined Hylo to try and connect to a global network of people whose attention is on the fact that we feel it. But as you notice, no one's been able to figure it out to do something effective about it. And don't hear that wrong, but I stepped away from it for the very reason, like, dudes, these men kill kids. Come on, we got to get serious. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing, Mark. And did you tell us what your working title of the book, or one of the 4?
So the working title is A Course in Us. We are the social problem and the only
Amazing.
solution.
I love it. We can't wait to read it. Or if you have any, readings for us, please share it.
So actually, it's as a 4-book set, as an educator, it's designed to be read in teams because dense work doesn't get read, right? You maybe get 10 to 15% of such books read by normal folks, and then they're dropped. So the object is to create reading teams because social knowledge needs seeds. And so social knowledge needs that energy of each other confronting the lies we've told ourselves.
Amazing.
Don't hear that wrong, but it's what we do as an animal.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for sharing your amazing work. Danielle, you are up next.
Can you hear me, I guess?
Yes.
Hi, can everybody hear me? From earlier, I wanted to respond. The hyper-local kind of regional organization that you guys are wanting to focus on in this next year, I would love to collaborate on that. And my answer is the same to the question. The thing that I want to have more collaboration on is shared meals. And my whole thing is that I think that if we really focus on the food part instead of skipping over it, we can form connections to create networks to complete the rest of our goals. So I didn't start out making apps. It just kind of happened in trying to figure out a way to connect where we are to where we want to be. It's called Santa Cruz Community Network, but I've posted the link before, and I could post it again, but it's www.santacruzcommunitynetwork.info. And then 2 of the apps are there, but to restore the things that were stripped from our society by capitalism. So shared, like farms as community hubs, and the apps are the in-between piece to make it easy for co-op cafes to exist and for healing spaces to be created by communities on like allotted land on these farms. So yeah, they're the in-between piece for all of that. And I would love to collaborate on your guys' voting ideas because that's kind of like, seems like the ultimate goal is to create a network within a region to be able to trade. So it's like a time banking system, mutual aid system, but also really focuses on planning at least meeting once a month for a shared meal and to have spaces to do that. Yeah. And Veronica, the shared vision, same. I think that it's this restoring the things that were stripped from our society because it was built just via capitalism and
Well,
colonialism.
Daniel, it would be a dream. This is just an idea of bringing the Hylo community together over a shared meal somewhere, maybe in the Bay, maybe in Morocco. I don't know, but that would be so incredible. Whether if we were having this gathering right now in person over a meal. So let's talk because I share that vision very much, and I'd love to support you in making it happen. All right. I think we might have lost you. But Mike, go for it. You're up next.
Okay, hello. We are the Born Care Community Exchange, BCX. We are based, we're focused on the town of Eastbourne in Sussex, in England, and our aim is to support local community action. We're building our sociocracy understanding, and possibly our practice, but certainly our understanding. And we have had maybe 3 particular projects it's worth just mentioning. One is food poverty and trying to help the many local food organisations to help them coordinate themselves. We've had some success in that. We are looking at the democratic deficit that I think is probably true all over the world, but in the UK at the moment, or in England at the moment, it is particularly problematic because of government changes to county level or moving to bigger and bigger governance organisations. So we're looking at ways of supporting communities to be more engaged in local democracy. We're exploring DAOs and World Cafe as approaches to help us do that. And the third one I would mention is it's actually broader than Eastbourne, but it is clearly true in Eastbourne, is the issue of the employment labour market consequences of artificial intelligence gradually being developed. So we're particularly interested in things like universal basic income and other mechanisms for helping to support communities to ensure that if people lose jobs, they will lose income, and if they lose income, they can't afford to buy the goods that the new productivity tools are producing. Those are the three of the things we're focusing on at the moment, and we're really looking for advice and help and support, particularly in making sociocracy real. And if anybody knows anything about using DAOs and World Cafe for that matter, we're very happy to share our knowledge and would be very interested in hearing what others might be able to help us with.
I see, love that, Mike. I see a recommendation from Tibet about the great collaboration that UK. Have you heard of them?
I heard, but I don't know very much about them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if anybody, knows about DAOs or please reach out to Mike, or you could also private message them or find them on Hylo. But I do have I might have someone for you, Mike, to meet who's built a DAO around space, like Moon DAO, who's been very successful at it. So I'd love to introduce you to him.
Good. Yes, please.
Great. Amazing. So if you can drop your email, actually, no, I'll find you on Hylo. Don't send me your email.
That's the best way. Hylo's best,
Yes, exactly. What is email?
Never heard of it.
Kevin, you're up next.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? All right. Mike, that was great. FYI, I have been designing 911 networks and stuff for the last 20 plus years. So I'm at the voice transition layer of connectivity between old stuff and new stuff, right? So that's kind of what I do now I've kind of jumped back into, I took a year off, had a new grandbaby, and then jumped back into AI and stop gates and so forth. So any of the long-running processes, or I just published a paper last week called ECMD, which is an external contextual model drift, is what I'm dubbing it as. So noise from your headset that gets into AI, noise from this. But I also discovered that time, there is no time in AI currently. So in 911, you have an atomic clock from end to end. You have logging from end to end, right? So me as a designer, I look at this and go, WTF, right? There's no clock. So if you ask your local AI, which is called a copilot, what time it is, how can it call itself a copilot if it doesn't know what day or time it is, right? So I'm working with a bunch of different agencies to get that peer reviewed. And some of the findings were surprising to say the least, but also we're working with like different industries. I've been working with a guy who is a 30-year truck driver. So he's taking some of our back end safety mechanisms for AI and advanced AI and whatnot, and mapping that into the trucking and logistics. And then I've also got, the CESC Foundation, which we just launched, for taking all the 911 gear that I used to develop and put out statewide. I wrote a backwards CI/CD pipeline that can save counties and governments, millions a year by just recycling that and then pushing that back, that CI/CD, pushing that backwards towards schools or whatever, right? It's 911 gear. It's really well built. It's already been vetted, yada, yada, yada. So I wrote a policy for that this last week. We're trying to get that, up to the Congress layer or something, just to say, hey, this is how you save money at your schools, and then work from there. But I'm not claiming to be a school, but I can say that I've been married to a teacher for 30 years, so I'm kind of a technical educator. And then during COVID, I supported like the Marysville School District here and a bunch of other people. And plus, I flew around the world during COVID as a 911 operator, so I saw everything that was going on, from a sociology standpoint, Mike. And my wife's a sociology major as well, so just having this giant thing in my head, but now I have the tooling to put that out, and I've created basically a connection, kind of like Hilo. I keep calling it Hilo, sorry. Hylo, where we can tie like the foundation back into a Hylo organization, right? So for each school that we spin up, that becomes a community, right? Or a Hilo community. And then uh, from there, it became Voices of the Day and Voices of the Bay. So I'm also a diver. So bringing the turtles and everything that we find and whatnot, getting them scanned and whatnot down in Mexico, that just kind of clicked. And I went, I need to go talk to the hotels, then do like dinner on the beach so that these people can learn about it and have the local people teach it. So that became this thing in my head. But then I met Yasmin and the Hilo group and was just like, okay, I got to merge all these things together somehow. And that's literally all I do for a living, is connect dots. On an architectural layer of old tech to new tech. So if I can be of any assistance to anybody here, that's literally all I do in architect stuff. And we're working on what's called Bobtail right now, and it was going to be Uber for trucks. So some states allow 3 to go across, some allow 2. So Bobtail was born, and then that trucker that's out of work can go pick up that third one, haul it across. But then it became a much bigger thing because it became Bobtail, and now everybody's a Bob who drives a truck, right? So Bob needs a rest, Bob needs a safety check, Bob needs this, Bob needs that, right? So it became this giant platform across Bobtail where I've got truckers on one end, I've got mob cars on the other end who are developing stuff for, AI ODB2 connectors for your general person, right? So that you can plug it in and now your dashboard looks like an F1 car, right? But they filed for the patent of using AI to talk to a car, and they got it. And I'm like, wow, okay, so now we all have to step back and go, what exactly, like uh, everybody said, what exactly are we going to use this for? Right? I'm the guy who goes, hey, 911 didn't go through, we have a problem, right? But now I'm looking at it going, AI doesn't have a clock, we have a problem. Right? So that's kind of the area that I'm sitting in now across the safety thing. And also I just joined the BH Tech group, so an advisory across like OEM layer, right? We sit literally in front of any problem, and it's just it's that Apollo 11 where they dump the stuff out on the table and go, we got to make this out of this, right? That's my team. So if you guys run into anything or just want to sit and chat, I'm Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you for being a great resource, and I'm sure some of us will reach out to you. Okay, we've got two more, and then we will actually stay an extra 20 minutes for anyone who wants to see the Hylo demo, but we'll go through some of the features and answer any additional questions. But first, over to you, Mandy.
Hello, my name is Mandy with Earth Regeneration Alliance. I'm in Durango, Colorado. And in the spirit of just things that can help all of us doing this amazing work, we have a purpose trust. The purpose is to realign humanity with all life on Earth. It is not owned by anyone and therefore is owned by everyone, including the microbes and the whales and everything. So it's a really fun, kind of very newfangled thing that we're hoping is really going to help support this. It can hold a commons fund. It can hold all kinds of things. Along with that, we've launched the Living Commons, which is a nervous system regulation community in Hylo. And then we're also launching an app to help bring affiliate money from current spending to fill the commons pool to support the funding of things like Hylo, like bioregional financing facilities and ecosystem regeneration immediately. So it's complete flow through funding, and just hoping that that can help support, because got to move our energy back into the collective and away from this ownership hierarchical way of being. So if anybody wants to connect, yeah, you can find us on earthregenerationalliance.com.
Amazing. Amazing. Great work, Mandy. And yeah, please put the link down in the chat.
I will. And thank you so much for the Hylo platform. It is absolutely fantastic. We love your ethos and everything about it. So,
oh, thank you. Yay. We love hearing that. Camilla, you're up. You're next. You're muted.
Okay. Hi. This is my first time, so I'm sort of trying to learn what you're all about. But I live in the Hudson Valley in New York, and I'm looking for people who might be interested in setting up chapters for. I'm a co-chair of Beyond Plastics, which is actually seeking to pass a legislation in New York which would reduce packaging waste and the toxins, 17 of the toxins that are in plastics. So, I would like to see if anyone is interested in this, expanding the reach of the concept of focusing more on reuse and making the producers of plastic pollution accountable for their production of toxicity in our system. So the founder of Beyond Plastics is Judith Enks, and she just published the book called The Problem with Plastics. So if anyone is interested, you can go to the organization by going to beyondplastics.org. I'm interested in a lot of what you're all talking about, but I just thought I'd like to focus on this for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Camilla. Okay, our last share, and then we have a few updates to share before we end the call and move into the demo part of today. Shagufta?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Actually, I have joined this Hylo for the first time, so I was trying to align myself what you all were talking. I'm a primary care physician, and I represent Pakistan in Global Alliance for the Movement of Lifestyle Medicine, which is meant for the control of non-communicable diseases globally. It has got about 6 pillars, but I am very, very much connected and dependent and promote the pillar of happiness or positive psychology. And in reference to United Nations 20th International Day of Happiness, I have started for the past 6 years that we celebrate this International Happiness Day by organizing a virtual happiness summit. So I can only invite all of you to that happiness summit. And lifestyle medicine talks about compassion and empathy. So that is why I just want that we should build a community which should, we lack this compassion now. So I think we all are compassionate, so we all should be together in that movement also. No? Thank you.
Love that. Thank you so much. And please, is there a link about the event that you could share?
Yeah. Okay, please.
Amazing. And welcome. Amazing. Wow. Thank you all so much for sharing. And I know not everybody could share, and we wish everyone's voice could be heard. So yeah, like next time we'll continue to do these community calls, and every month we have a different prompt and question that we reflect on together. So I would love to invite all of you to Building Hylo in case you haven't joined yet. Our next community call is going to be February on the 24th. So I'm just going to post the link here in the chat. And let's see, Krisha or Claire, any last minute things that we want to share? Or are we good for our ritual of the family picture that we take every month?
I do have one thing. This is for all of you who are in Canada, United States, or Mexico, natively known as Turtle Island. Something that all of you local organizers might want to know about is that there's going to be a Turtle Island Bioregional Congress this September, and Hylo is part of the organizing team for it. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. But for those of you doing impactful local organizing, and I've heard many examples on this call, it's a time for people that are doing that work to all come together in one place in person to build relationship, exchange tactics, and align on strategy together so that we can be super impactful as a whole place-based movement across Turtle Island. So I know a lot of you in this room are meant to be there, so I just wanted to drop the link and invite you all. It's going to be in Oregon, September 15th through 19th. And we're going to release registration details in the next few weeks. So just something on the radar, save the date if that intrigues you.
Incredible. Yay. Amazing. Thank you, Claire. I'd love to invite all of you to put your camera on if you're comfortable. I'm going to take a photo on the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and yay! Amazing. I got it. Thank you all so much. You inspire me every time. I'm just like, God, I love this community. You're all amazing in your all own unique ways. And I just came from Davos, which honestly, like this gives me hope so much more than those world leaders meeting talking about absolutely nothing. So we are the ones like to really bring this change forward without a doubt. So keep going, don't give up. And this marks the official ending of the call. And if you'd like to stay for the demo, we'll start in a minute. Thank you all. Much love.
The world is breathing, a fragile sound.
All right, 30 more seconds. So how many of you have joined Hylo or this is your first time? Just to get a sense. Okay, great. Amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just walk you through some of like the core features, and then we can just answer questions as they come. So let me know if you're able to see my screen. It should be on my homepage. Yes. Okay, great. So welcome to Hylo. This is our incredible platform that has been updated in the last couple weeks. So on the left side, as you can see, I've got like my activity, my messages, the comments. These are some of the communities that I'm part of. So Building Hylo, which I just invited you 2 is kind of like our open source network. We have 1,000 members at the moment. And when you go inside this community, you could immediately drop into like the group chat. So you can see people here asking questions or sharing updates. We welcome new members as well. And this is kind of like, this our Slack channel, like where everything is happening. But you can also go to the stream, which is like more of a kind of Facebook layout with all of the posts that are happening. And you could filter by discussions, by events, offers, projects, proposals, requests, and resources. You can also like have different layouts. So you've got like different, like a grid or small grid. You could look at the calendar for us to see what events are happening. So we've got our office hours, the Bioregional Hope Summit, and this is a way to see what is happening on an ongoing basis. The way we create a post is quite simple. So you click on click here to start a post, and then you could choose, like if you're part of multiple communities, you can go to, you can post it in one or two or even multiple. It could be a discussion, it could be an event. Just for the sake of testing, welcome to our new members. We are so happy you're here. And you could add an image here, you could add an attachment, you could choose if you want to make it public or private. And voila, this is how you create a post. And let's see, if I go to discussions, it should show up here. There we go. Welcome to our new members. Lovely. So on the left side as well, you could just look at, this is kind of like our content calendar, like in terms of what's happening, like product decisions, events, review of the latest releases, bug fixes. So our Hylo manual, which gives you like kind of more like our values and, is Hylo right for your group, product journeys, features. So this is just a way to like learn more about what's going on. So there's a lot of information. So you can initially can feel overwhelming, but you can easily learn to sift through it. And then what else can I show you? If I go to my homepage, I can see all of my groups in a map. I really like the map feature because it really shows kind of like what is happening in my region. So I'm based in San Francisco, even though I'm currently in Morocco. So I can see like who's there and what discussions are happening in what location. This is my profile. It's kind of an easy way to find each other. So I have like a couple, tags like my skills, my interest, the Hylo groups I'm part of. So this makes it really easy then to find each other. I could search like maybe sustainability as a theme. And then immediately we'll have like, let's see, people who have either wrote about sustainability or have that as a tag. And then finally, just to wrap up, and we can take questions. You have messaging. So here you could find pretty much anybody in the community. Like, let's say, where's Krisha? There she is. And I can send hi. And just send a note. And this is a way for us to like find each other after these calls and basically be able to stay connected, always. And I think maybe I'll stop here for a moment and then take questions, and we can always share back, if you have a specific question. So thank you all so much for checking out the demo, and the floor is open for another 15 minutes.
I'll just add one thing. In the demo, you saw in the left panel that she was running through these specific views. If you wouldn't mind opening that up again, you could just open Building Hylo just to talk through that a little bit.
Right.
So the group menu is completely customizable by group stewards, and we can share some documentation on how to set that up. But here you can, if you just open Building Hylo, or one of those groups is fine.
There we go. Mhm.
Yeah. So this is completely customizable by you if you're a group steward. So you can determine what is most important for our group to see and access. How is our group coordinating? You can highlight different chat rooms. You can highlight the group map. You can highlight the network map. Whatever is relevant to you, you can put in this group menu. However, as a member, if you could scroll down in the group menu, Yasmin, you will see the section called All Views right below. And this basically has any view that's ever been created in this group is accessible here. So as a steward, you can pick and choose what's most important for you and pop it in the group menu. So as a member, each group might look different. But just keep that in mind if you're a group creator or a group member.
Mhm. I think I saw a question from Rob raised his hand.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Yasmin. I live in a very isolated part of the world in terms of waking up, shall we say. My challenge is helping other people waking up. I'm not a particularly great educator in the terms of formal education. Most of what I've learned, I've done in the past 20, 30 years when I actually left school through life. I may be waffling, I apologize. But I guess my point, I can sort of see my answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How can Hylo help one person living among 100,000 people do his job?
Mm. That's a very good question. I guess my first question would be, what is your job? What are you trying to do?
Develop community.
Yeah. I think
I know that's a big thing.
it is, we talk about community a lot. It's not an easy thing to activate, especially this day and age. I think my recommendation for you, and you can take this or leave it, would be to find those people in your community in person that are willing to collaborate with you on this endeavor. And if you have you have maybe a small group of people, two, three people that you can create momentum with, that's where a movement can start. And you can create a high-low group and have these three people to coordinate with. But I think more importantly is finding those local people in your area that are willing to work on something together, willing to change culture and collaborate in whatever it is that you're trying to realize. I think place-based organizing is something that we're really trying to support with Hilo. And when you're trying to create a movement, coordinating in place, finding those collaborators is something that could really be helpful for you in your goals.
And maybe just to add to that, to what Krisha was saying, I think you already are part of like a community, right? Like 100,000 people living in it. That's incredible. You're already in the community, but the way maybe I would think about it is like you're deepening connection that already is there and just inviting people. I think so much of it is who is the one who invites and create the space for people to gather and come together. And so I would maybe experiment with like hosting a monthly lunch or dinner at your home or in a local cafe and having people come and see what happens and begin those conversations from a very curiosity-based approach and kind of see who else might be like a steward, who's as excited as you of bringing people together and coordinating locally. So that could be just an idea that has worked.
Thank you both.
Yeah,
It's
of
good to
course.
hear.
And so then the platform becomes useful. Maybe once you have 20 people or 50 or 100, then the technology is as really there as a tool to enable more coordination and connection and collaboration.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm actually looking for how to raise my hand, and I don't see the
That's all right.
button here.
Speak up.
Okay. First of all, I unfortunately I joined the meeting late. I got called on to another call. And I found my way here through. I read a very probably the best article I've written and I've read in a very long time about what is currently happening in the United States. And not just sitting around until fascism is in full swing, but, needing to do something right now if you understand the nature of what's really going on. So I followed links in that article, which landed me here. And from listening to what I have listened to on the call, what little bit I have heard, I'm beginning to see how this plays into that. And I guess my question is, where would I go to sort of fully understand? I mean, you guys gave us a quick demo. I get it. Certainly appreciate that. It um, kind of shows me what some of the capabilities are, but where would I go to sort of figure out, the full capabilities of this and how it can be useful to what I'm concerned about here? I mean, I don't have anything actually going on in terms of activities, but I do know I don't plan to just sit here and watch this develop. So I'm pretty much starting from scratch and I'm trying to figure out, where do I start? What would be the best place? Where could you direct me for that?
Krisha just posted a link, which is the Git book, and it really dives into all of those questions in terms of like the features and what are the values, and is, Hylo the right group for what you're doing, and just kind of like some examples of some communities that are using Hylo and how they're using it. So there's a link in the group. I would start with that.
Okay.
And then also join us on Building Hylo. This is a space, and I just put the link in the chat. This is a space for our open source community, and it's a great place to ask questions. I'm actually going to include another group, which is Hylo Community Organizers, and this is specifically for people who want to create communities on Hylo, to ask questions, to learn from others. So I recommend joining those two groups just to see how we're using that in those communities and
Okay.
ask the questions to get the clarity you need.
Perfect. I see the first one. The other one hasn't come through yet.
Yeah, so Daryl, I kind of found my way here the same exact way, through the Connected Tech Alliance, and I was reading a cybersecurity paper that somebody's part of, and they're over, I think, yeah, Yasmin, you held that one the first time, right? With the Connected Tech Alliance. So that might be a group that you want to connect with. It's guys that are literally building protocols and whatnot. And I'm looking at doing like a push to talk for an emergency system for just the public because of what's going on. So think store and forward if you're anywhere, in telco, anything to anything mapping back to anything, right? So and I was looking at Hylo as, does that have the capability, or could I plug that in like a push to talk walkie-talkie, right, in the emergency scenario? So that's where some of the other things from the recent news got me back to go, hey, I gotta go talk to your husband, and this group too. So yeah, I'm not gonna stand around. We've all got AI, and now we need a place to communicate the stuff that's happening safely. So that's kind of some of the other things that I'm working on just in the background. So if you want to connect up or delve into this together, I came in through the Connected Tech Alliance, and I think Yasmin, you've got the link to them. So yeah, that's kind of the security protocols that they're working on as kind of private mesh, like an ad-free internet, if you will. But then also look up Meshtastic, and Meshtastic is a global protocol that is like ham radio of today, but it bounces off anything. So I'm taking that and then turning that into a walkie-talkie for your phone. But I'm also working with the Place for Mom right now on an app to for elderly, right? Just the help I've fallen or help I'm falling button that they can have on their phone type thing. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one, but it's all the same tech as well, right? It's literally, it's a bunch of Python scripts running under the covers. So,
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad you both found us. We're happy you're here. I see a question from Derek's, I believe, about the different threads. Can you clarify more on that, just to make sure we address your question? If you're still here.
So from my perspective, it looks like Hylo is a combination of like Mighty Networks and Discord, and there are threads on the side as well as like posts within a thread. So I'm just curious if you could explain a little bit more about how the threads work versus the posts and maybe a comparison to Mighty Networks and Discord. This is the first time that I've actually seen Hylo.
I'm happy to take this question. So there's two types of coordination that we're allowing for on the platform, and it's all dependent on your group. So say you're a professional organization, a community of practice, and you are perhaps creating posts for discussion to have, long-term discussion over a piece of content. Then we also have the chat interface for people who are organizing or groups that are organizing more around a project that they need to have quick coordination around, or organizing an event. So they need to have a chat interface to allow them to coordinate. So Hylo has both these offerings in the platform, and within a space, within a chat room, one could create not only a post, which is again for more like in-depth content. It includes a title, you can include embedded video, you can include links, you can include a time frame if it's relevant for an event or a project, whatever it might be. But then also we allow for more quick chats. And this is for people that want to send a quick message. Hey, we're meeting today at 2 p.m. If you can join, come join us. They're more temporal, and might be for pieces of content that you don't need to categorize. So for posts, you're able to categorize that content. You can search for posts, and come back to them later, whereas chats is for that quick coordination. But on both chats and posts, you can have a thread. So hopefully this helps you with your question. On a chat, I can pop it open and have a comment thread. Same with a post.
There was a question around the map. If you could, Krisha, if you could just go to the map feature.
Sure.
So
And I just want to see, did you understand that, Derek? That makes sense, or is there more clarity you want around that? Okay. Okay, so the map, let's pop that open. I'm gonna find the right group for that. Let's open the Bay Area bioregion group. Now, if I go to the map, it automatically defaults to the location that I'm in, and I'm in Costa Rica, so there's not a lot happening here. But if I search for San Francisco, California, now you'll see there's members, there's posts. You can see the content that's within that map view. And then you can search the map by topics and keywords that are relevant to you. Are there any follow-up questions around that?
I don't. Am I good to go?
Sure.
So I'm a little curious about. So like I use Facebook a lot, the bad one. But so I have pages, I have groups, and then I have myself. So like I have projects that I'm working on that I would like to kind of tie together. I've got some organizational concepts, and I would like to start trying to see if there's overlap where maybe I'm reinventing the wheel and maybe there's areas where I could apply my efforts to other projects or have some cross-pollination on these projects. And right now it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah. So you have your profile, right? To create anything on Hylo, it needs to be associated with a group. So step one is either finding a relevant group or creating your own group. And then within that group, you can create any type of content that you'd like. You can organize your group menu based off of the work that you're doing. Like you can have special custom views that have files, for instance, that link out to a Google Drive. You can organize your content within a group through posts. And yeah, and depending on if you're coordinating with other people, you can actually set up specific chat rooms related to topics or keywords that you're talking about.
Okay. And I want to recognize that we're getting towards the end of your offering for extended time. I'm also curious whether there's any stewards who might be open, or how I'd find if there's any stewards that might be open on holding some individual space, just so I don't have to take up extra questions in this environment.
For sure. I'm gonna put the email in the chat and you can send a note there and we could schedule time to answer any specific questions you have.
And thank you so much for all the work that you've been doing. This is really cool to see the development over the last couple of years. I came in through Center for Community Wealth out of Denver, a train the trainer course. I'm just so excited to see the development, and I'm grateful for your efforts. Did you get that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I think if there's any final question, I think we're coming up to our time. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here today, and we'll see you next month. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Bye, all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you soon.